Good evening and welcome to Laughing Monkey Music Show. Trayvon Mark Lettieri, how are you?
Good, man. How are you, Sean?
I'm good. Off the air we talked a little bit. We tried this a little while on and off. What was really interesting to me is my connection is through you is actually more of a Dweezil Zappa thing.
Hmm.
Actually, I got my sweatshirt on today from his last
Oh, very
tour.
good.
Um, you had done an episode on Running with a Dweezil, right? When you talked
Right.
about Eddie Van Halen and stuff,
Yeah.
and it was a really good one.
Thanks.
I liked the way you spoke, just your musical knowledge, the rapport you guys had. And then I said, "Oh, I'm gonna check out his stuff." And I didn't realize that I hadn't been listening to other stuff you've done, like Snarky Puppy. Sometimes there's just so much out there,
Oh, yeah.
and I had been aware of both the other bands, just not putting you as a solo player with those with Fierce Flyers
Sure.
and Snarky Puppy. I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I've been
No,
a
that you're
fan
not the
without
well,
realizing." I know,
thank
but
you.
for me, that was a weird backwards way in
Right.
to putting it all together, which is pretty
You're not
funny.
that's not the first time I've heard that. So, yeah,
Really?
it's oftentimes it's like, wait, you're the same guy that does that also does that also does. I'm like, yeah, it's all me, man.
Oh, that's good to hear. Because I'm usually backwards. I mean, that's how I got into Frank Zappa through Dweezil. Like
Okay.
I do everything backwards. So like
That's funny. Yeah, I love it.
you know,
Yeah,
that's
man.
that's pretty good. Yeah. So actually, just go back and check out the whole series that Dweezil did. Actually, it was really good. But Mark's especially, I really enjoyed
Thanks.
the breakdown of what you liked about Eddie Van Halen techniques and stuff.
Yeah. That was
It
a
was
good
done
talk.
really well.
Thanks.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one though. So let's talk. You've been doing some touring. So you have two bands that you're in for almost your whole career now,
Yeah, almost.
and solo.
Yeah.
Like five Grammys.
As a member of Snarky Puppy, yes.
Okay, well, still,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
a
I mean,
lot. You're like in your early 40s, so you have one or two kids. You're
yep.
married. I
Yep.
mean, is there a contract with the devil? How you got all this stuff done so fast? I
I
mean,
don't know. I'm gonna find out
oh
when I
my
hit
God,
50, maybe.
you are insane. I'm very impressed with how busy you've been
Oh
and your
man,
accomplishments in this industry.
thank you.
Um, I guess the first thing is how do you keep your sanity and balance of work, life, family?
Hmm.
Because as a creative entity, creativity doesn't always start, or it can be in a happy moment when you're playing Parcheesi with somebody in the family and
Yeah,
you get an idea because some of your best creativity is usually when you're in a good spot.
sure.
If you're with your family, you're in a good spot, but you can't drop. You know what I mean? Hold on,
Well,
kids.
sometimes I do.
That's
Yeah,
the question is because if you're inspired and you're in a good spot, like I mean, it does help them out because you are paying the bills. So I mean,
sure. Well,
so
I try not to completely disappear, but it's funny that you mentioned that because actually just last night, um, I had my daughter, our youngest, who's 3 months. She was in her
yeah,
little swing thing in here, and I was just kind of keeping her occupied while my wife helped get our older daughter to sleep. And I was just playing guitar and just noodling and came up with an idea, and I put the phone in the in the baby swing. I'm like, here, kid, hold this. I gotta remember this before I forget it. So you try to get in the little creative nuggets whenever you can, but they're, of course, my family's a massive inspiration in my
of
work, and of
course.
course my friends in my life and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, in terms of maintaining sanity and a balance, I mean, I think I'm just very aware of um, being present when I'm home and
Hmm.
not leaving for too much. I mean, honestly, like going on the road is fun and I enjoy traveling, and that's like a huge part of my existence as a professional musician. But just being smart about like how long am I gone? Do I need to be out here? Is this really
Yeah,
worth the sacrifice, financially maybe to make this work?
but
What
these
am
are
I
important things that I don't think artists talk about enough.
probably
And you
not?
being right, and you being I think very successful point, and you have a family stuff. I think it's an important point to bring up with artists coming up,
Hmm.
and you're at the perfect age group too, because like I'm 50, 54. No, I'm 54. So I grew up before that internet and after in the
Right,
weird social media mesh, and
right.
then getting in. And I went to school for audio and I do IT, and so I have a little bit of knowledge, But you kind of came in right at the time it was starting to come up,
Hmm.
right during the your through your music years it was growing,
Hmm.
you know, social media. So it's been a part of of your fabric,
Right.
you know, and I don't know if generation, maybe you can tell me the media burnout. I don't know if it's the older generation is trying to keep up with what's going on
Mm.
and not knowing where to plug off,
Hmm.
or it's just thicker skin with media people have
Hmm.
younger, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's a weird balance because not every musician needs to do TikTok.
Right.
Not, like where do I find a balance? And a lot of managers or PR companies like you need to be on social media all the time. And you really don't.
Right.
The fans aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's that balance also with you at your age coming in. So it's kind of a weird question I'm asking you. Like,
Sure.
what is your thought overall on that coming in?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I'm probably definitely less involved in it as I was maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
Mhm.
Just because I was in a different place in my life. I didn't have a family. I had more
Yeah,
time to kind of do that and make Instagram videos and Facebook videos. And I'm glad I did that because it definitely broadened my fan base. It helped me create new music, um, and get me involved, put me in front of a lot of different eyeballs. I mean, and nowadays I think I've kind of built a fan base, so to speak. But I obviously have to keep giving them, I hate use the word content because it's
no, I
just so
know.
silly, but I still have to maintain that relationship because they are the folks that allow me to have a music career, right?
Right.
I mean, so there is that kind of symbiotic relationship, like they support, I provide, sort of thing. Um, but I've definitely experienced burnout. I mean, I think probably when you first invited me on the podcast, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, was probably when I was
Hmm.
experiencing that because I was so plugged in at the
Which you were
time.
so you were also very nice about it, just so people know. It's just it's a game of people moving around. I take nothing personal. People are on
Sure.
tours. Things can't happen. It's not always like people getting the door shut on them. It's like that. It's like we just postpone things and move them around. I just
Yeah,
want
it
people to
was
know
just a matter of like,
just
I
timing and
have to
schedule.
take a second. Yeah, totally, totally. And but
I
I mean,
get it.
during the pandemic, for example, was a terrible time for me and I'm sure many other people creatively. I mean, I eventually was able to be creative towards the end of it, but for a long time I was, really struggling. And I think a lot of it was because I was plugged into social media so much,
Really.
and just because it was like I felt like that was sort of all I had to be connected, and that was
Mhm.
rough because it's such a mess a lot of times,
It's a horrible mess. It's gotten worse too. I mean, I
And
think it was different then too.
yeah,
That was a
it was
weird time.
so I think that was a right around the end of that 2021 2022 was when I started to kind of back off a little bit more and get more of a healthy relationship with it because like any artist, I struggle with jealousy and comparisons and things like that, and so when you are basing your self-worth on other people's social media metrics, it's not healthy at all, and I
No.
was definitely doing that. Um, so I don't do that anymore. I
It's
had to
still
get
hard not
away
to look
from
at
it.
stuff. I see
Of
things too, and
course.
I think,
Yeah.
it's hard because you put it out there and it's like your work, and it's a weird metric because people keep trying to judge you on that though.
Sure. Yeah. And and I'm sure I'm preaching to my own choir here. Like I'm saying this out loud so that I'll believe it. Right. Um, but yeah, you just have to be better about not giving a shit about that kind of stuff
I'm
because
guilty.
yeah,
Number two.
we all are. It's impossible to not because
It's
we're
hard to be a driven person though,
sure.
and also not care if you see
Yeah.
markers on the road.
Well, you just have
That's
to
a
care
weird
about
balance.
the right stuff, and you keep plugging away and you keep putting out art that you believe in and people will find it if you are consistent with it and there's an element
Right.
of
But
integrity
it's how
there.
many, how fast. Like if I do,
I
I've had
know.
some fantastic artists on, and I'll get a low view on it because it's not something because I don't do clickbait.
Yep.
And if you
That's
look at my list, I've had some of the best artists in the world on, and
yeah.
the numbers don't match some of these shows where they have like two people talking about some thing the 15th time,
Right.
and I'm like, and then we'll have a conversation like this where it's more about what you're thinking,
Yeah.
more
Well,
stuff, and
you're
no one sees
fighting
it.
the good fight, because I mean that's it's all about integrity. If you can
Point is,
sleep at
point is,
night,
it's good content though. Like that person's being
yeah.
good, your music's good,
Right.
what my people are saying are good. But I'm like, if no one's hearing it, it's making me crazy.
Sure. I get it. Yep. I absolutely get it. Yeah, I mean
You
you
know?
spend, I'll spend all day on some video or something and put it up and it gets a handful of views or something and
Yeah.
then the other day I you post something just off the cuff for no reason at all and it blows up and it took you 10 minutes and you're like what am I doing? you
Yes.
know?
I've had that before too.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's funny because I'm always now sometimes when I talk to musicians off the line, I've helped out people, certain people with YouTube and other tips and stuff, share the mistakes I've made. Because Lord knows I've made a few, and you know that off the record. So I
Sure.
mean, but to share with other people like what not to do, what to do, and you don't need to be doing these things as much as you do. You know,
Yeah.
like even doing podcasting, I think it's almost out. People coming in now podcasting now, and this kind of stuff, they're already in the background. You need to have done it during a sweet period and establish
Hmm.
yourself during COVID. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I did like a radio thing where I didn't care about the beginnings of people. I
Uh-huh.
established relationships. So
Yeah.
like everyone that did the soup to nuts in the beginning had nobody to talk to afterwards because they've already kind of, you know what I mean? That was the format. So there's a long game.
Hmm.
Same thing with you now. I mean, your long game doesn't need to be a quick little TikTok.
Hmm.
That's not your audience.
No, I'm on TikTok and I use it about once every 4 months.
TikTok is insane. I mean,
And
my wife does
I
it, and
wish I
it's recipes.
probably, yeah, I should just delete my account. I mean,
I did it for a minute and deleted it. I'm like, I
yeah.
am not gonna. But here's the thing: like, I could say we may get some okay numbers for you watching it here. Big numbers are gonna be people me on my iTunes and Spotify. People drive to
Hmm.
work. That's where your audience is gonna be.
Sure.
I'm taking a guess on right now. They're gonna listen to it at work. That's what you know what I mean. It's just different.
Right. Yeah,
It's about finding your avenue.
you find your audience, you find your channel, and you maintain a healthy relationship with creating for said channel. I mean, I'm still very much, you asked about the generation that I'm in. I mean, I still like making albums. I'm not
I
totally,
love albums.
I like doing singles. I'm working on a few with some friends, but I still am very much in the album world, which is completely the antithesis of what Spotify will tell you, because Spotify wants content all the
Right.
time, right? But I want to write 10 great songs.
I will
Yeah.
support that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm actually a bigger fan of you, and I'd have you on. When I get people, I have tons of people lining up saying we got singles.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, but you don't have an album.
right.
I'll keep seeking you out because you have albums and you're not even trying to get it. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Because
thank you.
I'm not a singles guy. Like
Well,
I'm
I
like,
like to, well, but and part of the reason in myself and my friends included, we like to play live. You can't play a show if you only got 3 songs. You got,
right.
I want to, if you come see the Mark Lettieri group, you're going to hear music from 9 records. It's like, that's fun. That's fun. Or Snarky Puppy, 15
Yeah.
album, however many we got, you know.
How do you remember everything at this point? Is it getting
Oh,
harder?
well,
I mean, you're getting
yeah,
older now. It's the point when
yeah.
you're young, you remember it. And
Well,
this happens to every musician. I just want to put that disclaimer.
sure,
Every
sure.
musician says to
But,
me,
yeah.
I have to relearn it. Some people told me they go on YouTube to
Oh,
relearn it.
I'm
They're
trying to think
parts
if
from
I've
other younger kids now.
I'm trying to think if I've done
I
that.
won't out anybody, but
I've
I know a lot of
definitely
people that do that now.
I've definitely watched my own stuff
Yeah.
sometimes to remember like, oh, how did I actually finger this one phrase?
Yeah.
But it's funny you mentioned that because I have a Snarky Puppy gig coming up this Saturday, and I haven't played with the band since February.
Oh, you might want to pick
So,
up your guitar.
well, that's what I've been doing, and I actually went back to some of the original demos,
Yeah.
and looked at the MIDI scores to try to remember what the exact chord voicings are, and everybody goes through that. It's thankfully I've compartmentalized the bands that I work with enough to where I
Hmm.
have ample time to prepare for the next thing. So, the last 6 months or so were primarily Mark Lettieri group stuff. So I was very involved in that. And then came the Fearless Flyers stuff. So I had to switch gears, but I gave myself enough time to get that stuff together. And now, I've got all week to brush up on this snarky stuff. So it should be okay.
It's crazy. I mean, actually, with Weasel, right before his last big tour he had, we were talking. He's like, I've put my guitar like, oh, I don't like all year or whatever. He's a couple months
Yeah,
to think about. I'm like, he's like, I got to pick up because I don't have calluses anymore.
I know.
And then of
But
course he does this flawless tour
I
where
know.
you're
Well,
like,
but when he gets
unbelievable.
time to tour, that guy puts in the work, though. I
Right.
mean,
But
you
I'm saying like
can't.
he hadn't even picked up his
Yeah,
guitar for a while.
sure. I love that.
And he's like one of the best guitar players out there. And I'm like,
Well, yeah,
it's bananas.
yeah, it's amazing that he can just kind of get back into it. But I mean, I've seen the work that guy takes on, and it's
Yeah.
just really wildly
Yeah, it amazes
inspiring.
me that people of your caliber can do that though. I'm sure you could do. You could take it down and come back. Like
We'll try. I
someone
don't
like
know. I
me
think
will play like whatever, and then I'm doing the show so much. I really didn't pick up my guitar for like a year, and I go back to where I was.
yeah,
I'm barely putting my strings on.
right.
I mean, it's just a
How did I
nightmare. I'm
do
just
this?
getting
Yeah.
chords. Yeah.
Well,
I,
sometimes taking a break is good. I'll go a week or two every now and
will you?
then. Well, if I'm on vacation, like an actual vacation, yeah, I don't. I might go into a music store if I get like really itching for something, but yeah, every now and then a week off is okay.
Are you
Get a
writing
break.
songs now? No, I'm not very linear when I talk about stuff. So because obviously everything you do, even your solo thing, I'm sure you're very open to being collaborative.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think if
you're
it
very
makes
much
sense.
non-ego based music, and I think that's one of the strengths of realizing what else someone can bring to your music.
Sure.
Because you have a phrase, and this is funny. I think I actually went on your website or on one of your albums. You talk about serving the song. I've been saying that for years. That's one of
Mm.
my favorite phrases too. Are you
Yeah.
serving the song?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. What a good song is.
I believe so. Yeah, I mean, my solo material is definitely uh, maybe the most egotistical or something, but there because I do have a vision for the tunes and I have a vision
Well,
for
you're
how I
captain of
want
the
the stuff
ship,
to
is what it
sound.
is.
Sure,
You still have
but
you still
of
have sailors.
course, yeah, I know like it's not a point of pride to try to play every instrument necessarily because I could, even though I couldn't. But I'd rather hear someone else's interpretation of a
Right.
bass line that I write or something like that. And that's the way pretty much all these bands work, I think. But um, yeah, if someone has a better option or a better idea, I'm totally open to that. And um, the whole collaborative thing is always fun and inspiring, and I've gotten to collaborate with some really great folks over the years and get some cool stuff together. So as long as the finished product is exactly what needs to happen, whether that means I did
Mhm.
everything or I'm one of 10 people that did everything, it's fine. I don't.
Is it easy to switch gears from writing your stuff? I'd almost imagine it'd be like a break, really good, and then like really bad at the same time.
Mm,
Like it's nice to go to a group situation where you're like we're all collaborating, and then you're like, God, I just wish I had control of this because I feel like we're just over talking a point. Like let's just
yeah,
drop on. Like it's good and bad at the same like
sure.
extremes.
Yeah, I mean, writing for my own stuff is none of it's easy. I don't want to say that it's like easier to be in a particular headspace. It's difficult. I mean, it's better, if I'm writing for my own stuff, I know exactly what I'm capable of, and I'm also very, very conscious of what I've done before.
Hmm.
And oftentimes I'll come up with it and I'll be like, I feel like I've done that 100 times. Like, what else? How else can I say this and have it still represent what I need? Writing for Snarky Puppy is difficult because you have so many musicians to think about.
Yeah,
But even with that band, as long as you come up with something cool, they'll
yeah.
figure out what something to play. Which was
Okay.
something that I've struggled with in the past writing for that band because I was too worried about having interesting things for everyone to.
How does that work with all you so many members of the band? I mean,
Yeah. Well, actually, it's easier than you think because everybody pretty much writes everything individually. So a band member will come to the band with a demo with varying degrees of finalization for the parts,
mhm.
right? But there's enough there for a song, and then we'll kind of arrange it as a band with sort of like the lead writer kind of being the head arranger slash
The
co-producer with
visionary.
Michael. Yeah, um, Michael is the producer technically, but it's still a bit collaborative in terms of getting the artist's vision coming through while it still sounds like the band. Um, so what I was struggling with was like over composing for all the instruments, and then you just
Right.
ended up with a song that just sounded like a hot mess. Um, when I decided, I was like, you know what? I think I should just write something that sounds cool. When that was my
Yeah.
vision, the tunes worked better. Um, and the same thing goes with my solo material and honestly for the Fearless Flyers too, because that's a very
Right.
compartmentalized group with four distinct voices. So um, it could go off the rails if I try to think, well, this is a perfect Joe Dart bass line, and this is a perfect Nate Smith groove, and
Yeah,
this
that's
is a
different
perfect
because people don't
Corey
know.
Long.
It's if people aren't aware of that band, it's a fantastic concept because you play baritone in that one.
Right,
It's different guitars doing different
right,
frequencies or different soundscapes. I like to
yeah,
consider them,
yeah,
which is a fantastically great
right,
idea. I mean, I don't think
yeah.
anyone's ever had that before.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Not as a band, at least. I mean, like a
Yeah,
collective thing.
not with guitars on guitar stands. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty fun.
Yeah,
Um, but your
but
sound though sounds you are very consistent as a player though with all three bands.
yeah,
I,
it sounds like yeah, sort of. Yes, I can pick
maybe it's in your
myself out
fingers
of a
for me
lineup.
because I've been listening to you a lot over the
Sure.
past year, and I
Yeah.
think I could just be going crazy just hearing it in your fingers. I don't know.
Mm. Well, it's I'm a different version of myself in every group, I
The
think.
bands sound different. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's
Well, the
just
bands sound very different.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I'm saying, but it's something about yours. Maybe it's the style, not your sound so much. Something about you
Well, I
feels
mean,
recognizable.
good. Thank
It's a
you.
compliment.
Thank you. Yeah, that's my 100% has always been my goal is to have a voice, no matter what instrument I pick up, which, thankfully it's a guitar. But whether it's baritone guitar, playing rhythm, whether it's playing leads on a standard, whatever it is, melodies,
Hmm.
composing, as long as I have a voice that's recognizable in as many different iterations of that voice, I feel like that
Yeah,
makes me
I
happy.
can say that because as I said out loud, it's the same thing like if I hear Satriani or Dweezil or Frank or Steve Vai, like in Eddie, no matter what they play, you still hear it
Right
in their
on.
hands. You're like, that sounds like for example, playing so-so or do you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
hear that sound in
Good.
them, and
Yeah.
that's like that goes right underneath tone chasing, conversation, and then tube
Sure.
amps,
Yeah.
real or module.
Well, you know, it's funny, man, because we talk about tone a lot, and I think, uh, you know, tone can be two things. It can be like the physical sound that's coming out of
Right.
your ear, and it can also be your voice, right? When you say
Mhm.
when we hear of a player like Edward Van Halen, he's got great tone. Well, yeah, what's coming out of the amp sounds cool, but really what we're talking about is his personality on
Oh
the
yeah.
instrument, you know. So if you can have both of those things, that's the
I mean,
goal.
I talked to Mike Shem was on. He says, oh, him or Vito, someone picked up Eddie's guitar, and I think Nuno's done this too. I could be wrong. I don't
Sure.
know if I'm misquoting, but other legendary guitar players that have their own sound
Yep.
have picked up Eddie's guitar,
Yep.
and they sound nothing like it. But
That goes with
Eddie's picked up their
anybody.
guitar, and they're like, it sounds like Eddie Van Halen's playing
I
my
know.
rig.
I know. It's so crazy. I've played Steve Lukather's guitar, and I didn't sound like Steve Lukather. I played Andy Timmons' whole rig, and I
Oh
at
wow,
his house numerous times, and I don't
he's
sound
got a
like
great sound too. I've had him on a
yeah.
couple
I mean,
times.
these
He's
guys are
great.
tone gods, right? And I
Yeah,
don't sound like them, even if I'm playing their stuff. You know. So
it's
you gotta
amazing
sound
what's
like
in your fingers.
yourself.
But I do, and I want to say, as somebody who listens to a lot of music, you've seen, it was like, I think you're there myself.
Well,
I
thank
hear
you.
you in
Right
those.
on.
You're
Right
welcome.
on.
And I actually think a good guitar tone. You just did a piece in the past year, I think, talking about it was like guitar, one of the guitar places. I'm sorry if I didn't get the right place, but you're
Okay.
you're talking about you're doing the guitar tones. The riff that started in the beginning had the best, warmest tone ever.
Oh, nice.
I can't even think
Thanks.
of what it was now. Oh yeah, I got the
I don't
chills
know.
from it. I was like, that's a good
Huh.
guitar tone right there. How you
Right
started
on.
off. Um, but it's interesting to find the balance though, and that's what I think being in three different bands, writing for three different things, solo, two
Hmm.
different collaborative groups,
Yeah.
keeping your own sound, but honoring the difference of the bands
Right. I
is
love that. That's why I do music is because I get to play stuff I'm passionate about with people that I care about. I mean, that's really what, and I can make a living doing it too. But having those kinds of options creatively, like I don't know, even when I'm doing my solo stuff a lot, every now and then I'm like kind of like I kind of want to do something else.
yeah.
And then a Fearless Flyers thing comes along,
I think that's just anybody that has to do the same thing. I think anybody
Probably
feels
so.
they have to do something.
Yeah, I mean, until I write like "Living on a Prayer" and I got to play that every night, you know,
Yeah,
which I think would be fine. But yeah,
you just give Desmond Child a call. I think he'll take your call. I got
all
his
right,
email for you.
totally
He's got some good
perfect.
stories about that one.
Bet he does.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. You know, there's this line in that song. It's actually from a cult he was in.
What? No, I
So
didn't know
yeah,
that.
so here's a little side thing. So John and Richie were when he sat down with Desmond and they're writing that song. And there's a line in it where it goes, "It doesn't matter if you if we make it or not.
If
If
we
we make
make
it
it
or
or
not."
not, yeah.
That was a line. Desmond was in like a cult at the time, and the leader of the cult was be like, "It doesn't matter if you did it, make it or not." Like it's just, and Desmond is really good because obviously he was there. He could imitate the guy really good. And that
Wow.
was a line from the cult he was in. Transpose it into this song, which is it feels like a ballad. It's a love song. It's kind of like Rocky of romance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
It and it fits perfectly. But really, it doesn't matter if we make it or not. It's this very dead tone thing.
Yeah, you could if you interpret it
Yeah,
that way, it's pretty dark.
it's pretty
Oh
crazy, isn't it?
wow,
But
that's
I got a
nuts.
lot. Sorry, I got a lot of
Okay.
side. I can't listen to anything without hearing anything now. All these
Now
side
I
stories.
gotta go listen to that and be like, oh
Yeah,
whoa. All right. Well, I'm glad
if
they
you
made
every
it.
but
Glad
yeah, but it's a
Tommy and
good
Gina made it out alive at the end
right.
of that
And
one.
actually, that's actually Gina was his girlfriend, I think. With Desmond, or he knew it was more of
Okay.
a Desmond story than it
Okay.
was those guys.
Okay.
But you get all those writers together
Good
with
songwriting.
the guitar. I mean, Richie Sambora, guitar tone.
Yeah.
Once again,
Right.
you know his tone
Yeah.
automatically. But with you, you also have some of your own guitars, though.
Yeah. I do.
Fantastic. Let's talk about some of the ones. And is there more coming? Because I mean, the
Uh,
creativity out of you is ridiculous.
like actual the guitars.
Well, yeah, guitar because you've done some stuff too. You have some brands,
Yeah.
more
Yeah. There's
branded.
there's new stuff coming. Yeah. There's some stuff coming
Anything you can
later.
talk about, or just
I
on the
cannot,
horizons? Watch
but
your
you'll.
website. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Or just watch the space.
It's all good. It's all good, man.
Yeah.
Because you have a great sound. And have you created more on the earlier guitars? Your sound off of that, or something you heard in your head, or like have you evolved into it?
Well, that's a great question. It's definitely been a progression of mine since the beginning, honestly.
Mhm.
As soon as I got an electric guitar, I was interested in making the sounds that I heard in my head, which have changed. I wouldn't say they've changed, they've maybe just broadened.
Mhm.
Now it's a pretty wide net of sounds. Um, so really all the axes that I have here have played a real important part in the creative process. I mean, these are
Right.
tools for me to get my point across musically,
Yeah.
and I try to make sure that I have gear that actually kind of gets out of the way,
Hmm.
I mean, stuff that I can plug in and it's effortless. I'm not fighting anything. I'm not worried about something. I don't want to think about it, which is crazy. It's probably the most unsalesman-like thing you could say about
No, no, it's not
our
actually. It's
brand,
actually
but
it sells it because I think one thing everyone would like to do is have the perfect rig, but also not have to worry about anything.
exactly. Yeah, and I don't
The
even
last thing you want to do is be setting up for 25 minutes.
yeah, setting up for or worried about. It's like, the high end here is just
Yep.
not. I hate thinking about that stuff, and so I'm that's the tone chasing for me, to use the Edward term,
Yep.
is getting out of the way of that stuff.
And the irony of looking at his guitar, he just tore everything out of it.
I
It looks like a
know.
car. If you look up real close at when you're a kid, it looks great in the magazine on Circus or Rip
Well,
magazine or whatever it is.
that's what
And then you get close to it and you're like, oh my God, there's like
I got a
cigarette burns, there's things missing in it.
a PRS baritone that looks like that right
Yeah.
now,
Probably
and
sounds great.
it sounds awesome
Yeah.
because we're just trying shit and tearing pickups out and doing all this stuff, and a screw fell out of it the other day, and I was like, who cares? Edward wouldn't put the screw back in.
We wouldn't actually.
Yeah. So
That's but once again, I mean, to me, like all your guitars, if you're a guitar player, is like, once like if you're a painter, whatever you're painting, some people only have a couple paint brushes and a few paints and they do what they do. Some artists have a palette and
right.
they use each one for whatever their picture they're painting,
Yep.
whatever sound visual you're
Yeah.
painting. And I think but knowing your tools and knowing when to use your tools, like you get a singer that would be like nowadays I think a lot of some vocals over sing a song, whereas you have something like you'd have like, no, I don't know, more in the 80s, you get an R&B, a soul song with some great high funky notes, but they stop at that right point. There's a
Hmm.
certain point where you can just over sing,
Yeah.
and that reflects back to guitar playing.
Totally.
You do too much, it's like,
Yeah.
I lose it. It's kind of gross.
Don't
You do
ever
just enough, you want more.
don't ever get lost in your gear. I mean, like if your sound and your creative process requires a lot of stuff, that's totally fine, but you should be able to master it and not be sort of burdened by it.
Mhm.
Just like if you're a musician and all you do is plug straight into the amp, don't be mad if you can't get certain sounds.
Right. Pretty
So,
much.
own it, right? Um, I'm somewhere in between, I guess.
No, I think you have a good balance, and like I said, that's why we're talking. But I think also with the albums you do with solo with the bands, and like I said, people can go back and look at the history of you. You've done some really great podcasts. You talk about the history. This is
Mhm.
more just a general discussion. Just people aren't
Yeah, sure.
haven't gone on yet.
That's fine.
I'm
Yeah, that's fine.
I try to do it a little different than what you've done. I mean, I've heard this other stuff about you that's fascinating, and people can check out the albums. This is just kind of picking your brain. Um, but one of the things that is great, and it kind of goes to the production, is it, and I don't know much about who you're in the production of your album, Son, and the other albums,
Hmm.
because it is very consistent. Nothing jumps out as being like, this is a total different sound.
Mm,
And the guitars, and you have multiple guitars, it's very important to have them produced properly because it can
yes.
be a nightmare. I mean,
Yes.
and you can name like if you look at say like the Rolling Stones or Appetite for Destruction, you got different guitars going on, but they're done right. You
Right.
overdo it. I'm not going to diss any other bands, but a lot of
Yeah.
bands tried it, and you overdo it.
Right.
It sounds like jangling. It's
Well,
just
don't yeah, I mean that's a big part of the way that I look at producing and arranging, really, is don't add anything unless it serves a very specific purpose.
like it doesn't feel crowded in any of the projects you
Because
do.
it's
It
very well,
feels like
thank you.
it's
It's
a
very
journey.
well, that's the thing, and that's one of the pitfalls about instrumental music, is that we sort of have, and uh being able to record on your own time in your home studio. I think
Right.
that's a big part of it, is everyone's just sitting at their desks like,
The
oh, I can
forest through the
add this
trees
and
type
I
of
can
thing.
add this and do that, and no, it's not going to get on the radio anyway because there's no singer, whatever. But um, so we have a tendency to just overdo it because we get excited, but we're not
Yeah.
thinking about, like, okay, do we really need an extra track? Do we really need this? Do we really need that? Like, you should be able to get the point of the material across in the least, with the least amount of
Yep.
instruments, really. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean everything has to be a solo piano piece, but if you've got
No,
a
no,
good,
but I mean,
but yeah, but
good
if you've
song is a
got a
good
good
song.
melody, a good groove, a good set of harmony, whatever it is, a good, excuse me, a good contour of music,
Right.
that should be the focal point. And then everything else is just fun little bells and whistles, but don't let the bells and whistles mask uh, the whole production, the whole
Yeah,
production.
and I wonder, and I think about this because I know, like, for instrumentals, I almost feel like some guitarists try to make up for not having, like, I don't need a singer, and it's just too much. And I know some guitarists I love, and
Hmm.
he does good instrumentals, and he doesn't overdo it. And so when he sends me like the albums, and they're great, and I'll be like, that's great. So who are you gonna get to sing on this one? I'm
Oh
like, no.
no. Yeah.
But actually,
Well,
the album is actually perfect because he doesn't do that. That's what the joke is.
sure.
He
Yeah.
does. He's not guilty of that. But to the other hand, I think sometimes that is a danger
Mm,
if you don't have a singer to
hmm.
try to
Yeah.
put
Well,
something on
I
there.
mean, if you are writing melodies, you are writing lyrics and a vocal melody. That's what
I
you're
agree.
doing. So if you look at it like, don't, like, you, guitar might be your voice, but treat it like it's an actual
Mhm.
voice. Don't
It's
treat
yeah,
it because I what turns me off about a lot of guitar music is that the melodies sound like guitar solos. They don't
yes,
sound like melodies. And I'm guilty of that myself. And there's stuff in my catalog where I'm like, God dang it, I should have used like less.
yeah. Less is
Right.
more.
But yeah, but or just, focused on a different approach to this particular thing.
But there is a love for technical guitar playing. But
Absolutely. And
but it
there's
goes so
nothing.
finite though. It's a
Well,
small
that's the
audience
thing.
to begin with. It's
Yeah.
instrumental.
Well,
I think it's
it's
smaller and
it's
smaller. Three people.
it's just really hard to do well.
Yeah,
Like, there's great technical guitar songs out there that I
yeah.
love and we all love, and those players got it right. The rest of us, we've gotten it wrong a lot of times. And we're trying to get it right, you know, myself included. That's what I was saying. I'm preaching to my own choir here, but you have to really be real careful because, guitar players nowadays, man, everyone's got a ton of chops. Everyone can play.
Mhm.
I go on, like, we were talking about social media. I go on Instagram and I'm like, God, I'm the worst guitar player in the world. But you think about it and you go, okay, within my chops realm, how can I use that to make stuff cool and to make good
Mhm.
music? And how do I know when to back off the chops and, lean more into the vibe, the creativity, the melody?
And I think for a lot of things, it's like, what do you want? I mean, do you think going? What would I want to hear?
Yeah, right. If
Like,
you want to hear something
what you're
incredibly technical and chopsy, go make that. But you're going to have to find you then it's up to you to go find your audience for that. And
right.
just like it's up to me to find my audience for what I do. So there's not really like a right or wrong way to do this because it's art, right?
Yeah.
But I do feel like a lot of stuff can be saved if the focus is just a little bit different than maybe what your
Well,
initial.
self-editing is still considered art, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, I think so. And I'm not saying everyone needs to make music that sounds like mine or sounds like my peers or whatever. Don't do that.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
You
you
know?
don't want to sound like somebody that's already been in Eddie Van Halen. We don't need Eddie Van Halen.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's already been this person. You can be inspired by them, but not sound like them.
Right.
You can.
Yeah.
That's why I talk like this is interesting to me because it's like, what is the creative force thinking?
Right. I think what it is I hear a lot of players who do instrumental music and I go, man, there were like 4 really cool songs in this one song.
I hear that about riffs too. Like that was a great riff.
Like
And then there's another one.
yeah, it's like, man, you're an incredible player. Like, the sound is great, but like, compositionally, I felt like I just heard 6 songs.
Yep.
So I would say that as sort of constructive criticism. Like,
Mhm.
you have great ideas, just learn to compartmentalize them into their own
I don't think a lot of
realms.
artists do that though.
Don't
You know.
force them all together just because they're all cool ideas.
No, I mean, you follow it. I mean, and Satriani does it. He finds something good and he keeps with it.
Sure.
You know,
Well, all the, I mean, all the
jazzes
greats
up.
are,
Yeah,
have
but he
done it
doesn't go
right.
crazy. Yeah, I'm saying I see Vi the same way. But
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say something else for people that here understand. I mean,
Right.
that's an easy example for people to know. You know,
Right.
it's a bigger name.
And like I said, I just, for anyone that's hearing this, I'm not on a high horse. I'm saying this because I've experienced this exact same thing. Writing a
Well,
tune and being
that's
like,
the whole thing. I mean, to be a
dang,
good guitarist, you have to.
this was 3 songs.
Yeah.
But I made you sit and listen to one of them, or listen to it all as one, and now it wasn't as good, you know. So,
I think that's the human part of it. I think that's why a lot of guitarists are like that, where they play and they're like. And the other danger is, I think you're at now. You've played on so much music, and it sounds familiar.
yeah,
You repeat yourself. Like literally, I've had artists say, "I think I actually," because you get these mixed groups and all these other
yes,
labels, and these super groups, and they play it. They're like, can I rip myself off? Can I sue myself? Because I think I actually played that solo on another album.
Definitely have snuck in little morsels of melodies from my own stuff into Fearless Flyers.
Pretend they're Easter eggs and they're tying things together.
Well,
I think
that's
what I say.
That is the way I look at it, because it's all me at the end of the day. So if somebody wants to unify the things, but to your point,
if you wrote it, it's yours.
Exactly.
Do it whenever you want. I say jokes all the time the same. I'm like, Dad, I'll say all the bad jokes.
Well, yeah, and I can. It's same with some of my friends too. Like if I hear, like Michael League, for example, with Snarky, like he has a specific melodic language that I can pick out on a Snarky Puppy record. I can pick out in another record that he's produced. Like, that's a Mike League thing, which is great. That's called having an.
It's identity. A signature, yeah.
Yeah, so you can get
it's important. But if you're writing music and you get an idea, do you think sometimes, or maybe everything? This is going to this group solo, whatever. I like this. I have an idea where it's going, or this could go a couple different places. Let me just flesh it out and see where it goes.
Both.
Without being trapped into a thing when you write a song, because you don't want to be like, it's got to be a Mark Lettieri solo project thing. I can't make it sound like Snarky.
I'm always writing for my own thing, always. Whether it's baritone based or standard tuning based, whatever. If you want to compartmentalize it like that, I'm always writing for those things, but. Usually with like the Fearless Flyers or Snarky Puppy, for example, those things are a bit more scheduled. Like if I know we have we'll book a Flyers recording session before there's any material. And so it's
those are the most insane things I hear. Like, because now let me preface this: there's some artists that can't do that on the fly. It'll take 10 years to make an album because they cannot write unless it comes to them.
Yeah.
Or it's so painful. And then there's artists like you guys that can schedule it.
Well, that's the thing.
And then go in and create something.
And I've started doing that with my own stuff too, and it actually kind of helps.
It's a good gift.
It's like, hey man, if I want, this new baritone sessions record to come out next June, this is what I have to do in order to get. I mean, this is all hypothetical, but this, this is what I have to do to get it done. And so, like with the Flyers, it's like, hey guys, we're meeting in LA first week of January. Everybody have your stuff turned in. Snarky's the same way. Hey guys, we're making a record in Dallas in October or whatever it is. Everyone.
Did you guys say like each bring 10 songs in so we can pick apart and put an album? Or like
no. I mean, Snarky, each guy might bring in one, and not everybody brings in a tune because it's a lot. With the Flyers, usually like Corey, Nate, and I will bring in stuff, and then we'll kind of all mix it up together. And then, with my stuff, it's like, okay, I know I want to be recording. Well, yeah, but it's also like, this fall, I know I want to be recording. I want to have the parts out to the different feature artists that I want to get on by, October, for example. So it's, basically like next week, I'm getting back into writing mode and I'm going to crank out these tunes. And that's inspiring to me. I like having that sort of like, let's get in there, and
it's different though from a lot of artists though. I mean, do you see the difference? Because and like I said, that's one of the things I talk about a lot.
Yeah, I've played on records that, I played on them 10 years ago, and they still haven't come out yet.
Yeah, that would make me crazy. By the way, I would be like, "Can you send me a demo?" Because I hate not hearing it. I would.
Yeah, there's loads of great stuff.
I can imagine because I hear all the time of people.
Stuff, people just shelve things. They move on. Their lives change. It is what it is. But
dude, it would make me crazy if I was you. Because even when I guess I'll send you I'll send you a demo of this. Then the album never comes out, and I can't share it because it's not in a present form. Because I never share anything. I mean, I'm locked in.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh my god, this would make me crazy if I was doing this stuff.
I don't even have the demos. I go in and cut it, and I'm like, that was awesome. Can't wait to hear it. And never.
You need to start turning your phone on and just flip it over and be like, just so you can hear yourself,
Yeah, right.
your
Just
riffs, and use them elsewhere.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh man.
bootleg yourself. But it's such an interesting thing, I think, because every musician, and that's kind of the way it goes now. It's like you were born, I think it was like '84.
Mhm.
So at that time period, it was if a guy did something solo, it was like the end of the world. Collaborative was not a thing. It was usually a singer and a guitar player. Right? There were some really just rules in the industry.
I guess so. Yeah.
But if you look back at it, there was But you're in a great time period, I think, for an artist, especially if you're creative, because you're not kind of locked in. You're
No.
like in this open relationship where you're dating other people, like because you can kind of move around. And I think being an artist, how exciting is it to be in a band and do something fresh, and then before it gets bad, go do something else fresh and come back
Sure.
and re-celebrate that music again before it just becomes like 5 or 10, 20. You got a lot of guys in your band, it's like 20 guys.
Sure. Yeah. Well,
More
I
guys
mean,
on a stage than on in the audience how you started.
I think
You
that
know,
I think yeah, being an independent musician in 2025, the flexibility is definitely the greatest thing about it. Because yeah, we do have that freedom. I'm not beholden to a label that tells me I need to have. I mean, I have a record label, but it's more of like a friendly kind of distribution
yeah.
situation where they're not like, "Hey, man, we contracted you for these amount of records and we gave you this event." It's not that at all. So yeah, there's the rules like that,
Well, it's
like
more
you're
of a
saying,
partnership,
are
probably, right? Because
exactly.
a lot of nowadays it behooves you yourself to
Yeah, I mean
maintain your own
they're
album sales because you still have to eat. Like so,
exactly. Yeah. Right.
it's
So
just
if you have a label now, it should be a mutually beneficial thing where
right,
basically they're just able to have a slightly different focused megaphone than you do
right.
on your own end. But yeah, like I was saying, that the flexibility to work with different artists and do different projects, I mean, is creatively the most fulfilling. The problem is it just more of the day-to-day logistical work of getting it together, promoting
Mhm.
it, paying for it, touring. I mean, that all falls on your shoulders, and the bummer is, and I hate to even steer this way, but until they find a better way of compensating streaming and things like that,
Oh, it's the worst.
it's going to be real tough, because that was the one thing back in '84 artists could rely, as
Yep.
long as they were able to pay off their advance, I guess artists could rely on physical royalties
Right.
of record sales, and it was like real money.
Well,
uh,
it's not a secret nowadays, though. I mean, I think, I always say this, and I'll say it again. I mean, people go out. If your band's in town, go see
yeah,
them.
try your
Buy
best.
and
Buy
buy
a
a
ticket.
T-shirt.
Buy a
Buy a
t-shirt.
T-shirt. Buy it
We're
from
in the
them.
oh gosh, it was Misha Mansour from Periphery. He was like, yeah, I'm not in a band, I'm in the t-shirt business.
I hear that all the time too, and it breaks my heart. I'm like,
I
you're
know
not, but you are.
you're not, but hey, I
And
get
you know
it.
what I'll say? But if your music sucked, you wouldn't be selling these T-shirts.
I
So you
know.
are in the music business. You're just having
Yeah.
cool images of your music
Yeah,
where you
I
can make the
totally, I
profit.
totally get what he's saying though. As an
Oh,
independent musician that
it's true
that
though.
sells merch, I mean it's your lifeblood when you're on the road, just because
Yeah.
touring is so expensive.
And
I
if you
mean
can
that,
buy it directly from the artist, sometimes some places will tag a price on it.
yeah.
Some
I mean,
venues are starting to tag taxes
this is
on
what
that
I tell
also.
people. I was like, look, if you want it, you can stream my music as much as you want. Just buy a CD. You don't even have to listen to it.
Yep.
But use it as a coaster. But that
You have
15
enough of them. I can
bucks,
do coasters for the whole table. I
exactly.
can do
You
a
could
big
have
Thanksgiving
a
setting. You have enough now.
that's right. But that 15 bucks or whatever,
Right.
minus the production cost of making the CD or whatever, it's like, okay, so say I go home with 10 bucks. Well, to get $10 of a streaming, that's thousands and thousands and thousands of
That's like
streams.
Mariah Carey. I think she's the only person who makes money. Her and the Beatles are the only people who make money off of streaming at this point. You
Well,
know,
yeah, I mean, there's the whole structure that they have there is
it,
just
it, it's it's
wild.
it's out of control. But
So,
and that's why I'm saying it is important that people go. And you have a great website too. I want to give you a
yeah,
compliment on
it's
that
not bad.
too.
Thanks.
It's good because
Squares.
I go to a lot of them and they're ghost towns too. I mean, you're
Okay.
really up to date and it's
Ah,
visually it's
Squarespace.
solid.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not
no,
bad.
but that's the thing. I mean, you can't you put yourself down, but it's self-deprecating. But I mean, the truth is, I mean, even Alan Holmes was like that too. But I hated that performance. You're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Alan Holmes was that kind of stuff too. You're like, you're insane. That was
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
But you do have a good website. Your music's strong. It's always been a good product at the very beginning. And the fact that you can come in and keep writing like this, it's going to allow you to do this
I hope so.
for an endless amount of time.
I
You
hope
know,
so. Yeah, I hope
well,
so.
at this point, you've already got such a great feel for what your fans want.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're very honestly who yourself are for your sounds. You're not putting out stuff that like, oh, I got to put out my other
Mm,
album. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't feel like you have to repeat yourself for your
right.
fans. Like, you can be
Right.
authentic and
Yeah.
deliver to your fans. I think that you're in a good
I
spot
think
as an
so.
artist.
Yeah. I hope so. I received that. Thank you. Hope you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you have huge peer respect. I mean, other artists that talk about you very well. I mean, you've got that point where you're at that point now. Um, I do want to thank you for coming on the show, and maybe
Yeah.
when your next album comes on, we can pick
Man,
it
I'd love
apart.
to. Yeah. Love to talk about it.
I'd like to do that. I want people to support you. I put the links for all your stuff. I don't
Awesome,
make
man.
money off this. I don't make money off the show. It's not my way of doing it.
All
I just put
good.
all the artist links underneath the show.
Cool.
Support you, check you out. And yeah, definitely when your next album comes out, we'll keep in touch,
Sweet,
and
man. Thanks,
we'll
Sean.
do a nerd breakdown. But people check him
Yes.
out. I mean, he is just on so many things. And I think you want to announce any dates? Anything got coming up, by the way? You got a couple
Let's
dates coming
see.
up.
Yeah,
I
a
think kind
couple
of near me
things.
in the East Coast.
Well, yeah, the Iridium. I'll be at the Iridium November 13th and 14th, New York City. And then
Yeah,
actually right prior to that on November 8th and 9th, I'll be at the Blue Note with Corey Wong. So you can hang out in New
nice.
York the whole week and see me play a whole shitload of guitar.
Yeah, because is it the one as in Rhode Island, right?
Yeah, that's right. There's a Rhode Island one. That'll be fun. That's a really interesting project that I'm doing with a sitar player friend of mine named
Oh, I saw that.
Purbayan
Sitar is awesome.
Chatterjee. He's
I think it's
amazing.
love or hate
We
though
have
for
a
that sound.
record. We have a record coming out at some point. That's one of the things on my list of
Oh, that would be awesome.
post-it notes here to get done with. So
But
it's
that's
really
a
interesting.
guitar that people are like, either they like the sound or they don't. It's a tone,
Well,
like with
you're
a
gonna
singer's
like
voice.
this. We co-wrote a bunch of tunes. It was primarily his stuff, and then I kind of helped him co-write and produce some stuff. And it's like Indian classical EDM prog rock. It's wild. Yeah,
I'm down for it. I love it. I
yeah,
remember being a kid hearing that tone. I'm like, I don't know. And I have functional autism, so I'm like, sometimes pitches are weird to me. I'm like, I kind of want to like it, but I just think the tone's kind of weird to me. Years later,
yeah.
I'm like, I love that tone now.
Isn't
Like
it
it
cool?
just, you
Well,
have
he
to.
runs it through like a distortion pedal, and
Oh yeah,
it's a vibe. Yeah,
I'll have to check them out separately after this show.
yeah. Please do.
But that's awesome. So people check them out on those things. I know you got the dates on your site.
Yeah, everything's on
Those
my
are
website. Got some stuff
those
in
are all the
Dallas
current.
if you're local to Dallas too. So
Yeah. So
cool.
check them out, man. I want to thank you for being on the show.